Hey fellow patriots, I'm Bree.
And I'm Blaze. Some call me Pa. It has been said that we have 4 boxes to keep ourselves free. These are the soap box, the ballot box, the jury box, and the ammo box.
And we are the 4th box. We are here to arm you with enough information, resources, and skills to take back your freedom, increase your self-sufficiency, and inspire you to join in the fight against tyranny.
Thomas Jefferson said, "Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty." Thank you for joining us and for joining in this fight.
Welcome back to the 4th box. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the 4th Box podcast. We are going to introduce our guests who are joining us momentarily. We are very excited to let you know that we are being joined by some frequent flyers here at the 4th Box. You will recognize as soon as we say their names. But before we do that, Pops, I'll let you get us started with quote and a toast.
All right. Thanks, Bree. Welcome back, 4th Box Patriots. We are very happy again to be recording the podcast from our virtual Buckman Tavern. It's the place that patriots gather. And tonight I'm raising a glass of New York whiskey, Lake George whiskey from the distiller that we stop in when I'm going up to see the girls. And I'm toasting, to start with, I'm toasting the Pennsylvania Amish and others who continue to work in Chimney Rocks, North Carolina. They are still down there after Hurricane Helene, building homes for people to get them out of the temporary shelters. And I just think it's one of those stories that, of course, Main Street's never going to put up there. But those folks have been down there nonstop since a week after the storm, and they rotate new people in, and they just keep building them shelters. And I say, God bless them. I'm raising a glass to those folks.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Same here.
Yeah,
God
cheers.
bless those guys.
Okay, for my quote tonight, you know I try to find one relevant to our conversation, so here we go. You know, farming looks mighty easy when your plow is a pencil and you're 1,000 miles from the cornfield. And that was from Dwight D. Eisenhower. So a secondary salute to you guys out there doing what you do. We're thankful for you, and I know you got a hell of a fight on your hands,
Thank you.
but
Much
salute to
appreciated.
you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, as Bree mentioned, very happy once again to have you guys on. We're always very grateful for your time. We know you're busy. I hope our podcast gets far and wide to help get your story out. We know most of this country is sleeping. There's all kind of things going on around us, and we just have a hard time waking people up. But for the ones that are listening, we're very happy to bring back to the show tonight
Thank you.
Mike and Jared. Go ahead, Bree.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're always happy to have you guys back on the show here. I know that we've been following this story for quite a while, really since very early days in the podcast. Now we're on the 112th, which I think you may have mistakenly called it last week, Dad, but that's all right. 112th episode. So happy to have you guys joining for, I believe, the 4th time, and I'm sure you'll be back again. But I know where we left off last time was discussing, you know, some of the stuff going on with some bills that were basically going to ultimately lead to more opportunity for eminent domain to come in and, you know, long story short, take people's property away from the citizens with really no explanation other than the big corporation wanted it to be so. So that's kind of where we had left off last time, but obviously so much has happened since we last spoke. So I'll just hand it right over to either of you to get us started and start picking us up where we left off.
Mike, you want to catch up on that bill that Dusty had, and more or less it's amended in.
Okay. All right, I'll do that. So when we left off the last time, we were concerned about a House bill that our federal representative Dusty Johnson was bringing to the House, which was House Bill 4135. And in it, was some obscure language that we believe would have tried to override our state's eminent domain laws. And so we made our concerns known to him, and I don't know if he's listening or not, but he also said that he would consider putting in an amendment so that CO2 pipelines would be excluded. And so if he does that, we're going to be good with that. But everything's been silent since then, so I think it's just kind of on the back burner. He's only got about they're at 8 months left in his term, and he'll be done. Although he is running for governor of South Dakota now, along with 3 others. There's four candidates for governor, and he's got lots and lots of money in his coffers from his time that he spent in Washington, and he's spending it. Just a note of interest, he actually had an ad on the Super Bowl. So
Wow.
give you an idea how much money he might have at his disposal.
Isn't it just amazing? Yeah. You go to Washington and money just flows out of your pockets. You know that, and then you wonder why nothing gets done for the people. We're the peons in the way. And that bill, it's just hiding in the weeds right now, waiting to pounce out when nobody's looking. That's just how they do these things. But
yeah. Hey guys, if I could, I'm trying to remember what were the events that led up to it leaving the state jurisdiction and dropping in the hands of the feds anyway. It seems to me like at least at this point it should be, or did you try and expand it upon including all states, and then it went to
South
the feds?
Dakota, which we were on and talked about the bill 1052, and 1052 is no eminent domain for CO2 pipelines. And we got that passed through, the governor signed it, all that happened. So we're right in the middle of this whole big project. And everybody behind this project all has buddies in Washington. So we kind of made a temporary roadblock, with the state law. So, of course, they're going to try to just go over our heads and supersede it, more or less. And it wasn't, his bill is very shifty. I mean, you had to look back 2-3 times from his little, the bullet points in there. Nothing's obvious in Washington. They hide these things back in the weeds to get stuff passed. And then when it goes, you're like, oh shit, this went. And we happen to have a senator that's been very involved with this. And he broke it down and seen how this was and more or less fast tracked some of these things through. Well, then when we called Dusty on it, he said we were wrong. There's nothing in there like that, but it's in there. It's in there. Whether he wants to admit it or not, it's right there. We read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since then, there's been a hell of a lot. South Dakota is a busy place. And right now we're in legislative session. And legislative session it's crazy. Way more crazy than I knew. I don't know if it's always been like this, but now you're really following along. And you see why people don't want to run for this. They got 1,000 bills to try to read through and do. And lobbyists, right out of the hole, lobbyists should not be involved in the people's house out there. Why? A paid lobbyist should not be able to be there. We're trying to work. We have to take off of work to go out there and do that. And actually doing that tomorrow. We'll get to that in the future, but we got 2 big things currently in Pier, and one of them is a resolution to the state constitution of South Dakota. And there's some fancy words in there, but to sum it up, common man version, like I understand it, no eminent domain for private gain. More or less, all these companies coming in here are, they don't have a good to the public. It's always about economic development. Your sole purpose can't just be economic development. And you're going wind, solar. We're trying to put more of a blanket on this than just CO2. Because like we said in the first one, CO2 is the tip of the spear. Well, COVID tip of the spear, they push us around, and then they come with this. Well, now there's data centers. This stuff is freaking huge, you guys. I mean, I don't know how many data centers they think they need, but they take a lot of power. A lot of power. I mean, one data center is probably using as much as what the state uses. We barely keep the lights on now. And they use a bunch of water to keep all those computers cool. And there might be new technology to keep some of that stuff more of a contained deal. But I just don't understand why anyone thinks they're a good idea, for one, to take our natural resources and deplete them, which are already low. I mean, they're very low, you guys. And why do any of us think that we need to have more information about ourselves out there and what's already there? And that's one thing that never gets said about these data centers. I just don't see why people are behind it. So they can Google faster or whatever the hell they got to do. Like, these phones should be shut off for unless emergency most of the time anymore. I don't know. It's not good.
An interesting, I'm going to interrupt you just for a second, Jared, but an interesting fact about these data centers. It just so happens there's one being built just across the border in North Dakota where I live. And it's going to be a $20 billion facility. And $2 billion would buy every acre of farmland in the county that is in at $7,000 an acre. So you could buy that county 10 times over for this one facility that's being built. But the real, I think, interesting part is that facility will use at least half as much power as the entire state of North Dakota uses. And South Dakota now has the data people have requested to our PUC 6 gigawatts of power. South Dakota uses less than 1 gigawatt of power. So they want 6 times more power than we're using right now. And we simply don't have that. We couldn't do twice as much as we are now. And they were requesting 6 times as much. And we think they're doing that just so that they can probably get, 1 or 2 gigawatts. But it's insane. And as Jared had just said, how much more do they need to know? And how much faster do our phones have to be? Something else is going on. This is not just for, and then they want to use national security as a reason for it to do that. And I think the guns in our household are more apt to curb or to be helpful to national security than these damn things that they're trying to build. But
they're gonna push. We talk property rights, and we said everything you own is property, including money in the bank. You see more, all this stuff all the time is getting more electronic, more digital. And so we know China, they're involved in everything. They'll be involved with this stuff. And people are actually already saying that some of these data centers will be used for like China to take us over. I mean, hackers are going to get in there. That's what they do. They get into these things. How long before that happens in them and everything? We have no information anymore. It don't hurt just to have a fireproof, well, for one, gun safe, full of guns, a file cabinet. We don't need all this stuff digitally done. It's you can just see the taking ahead, because after this whole CO2 thing, well, frankly, trust no one anymore. And every time anybody asks you for an easement or anything, and it might be just, the good ones, like, not, I wouldn't say good ones, but like a power line is there standing, but they want to bury a power line. And you ask way more questions now than you ever did before. Like, okay, if I do this, there can't be a substation put in here to power a data center. Because the people are on a need to know basis, and most of them don't care if they know or not, is the problem with a lot of this stuff. And that's kind of a common theme we come back through, and it gets damn frustrating. But we're trying.
I'm sorry, to add a little bit to that. So we'll go right into our legislature now. So today, in our Senate legislatures in our state, they tried to pass a bill that would have given these data centers a 30-year tax exemption. These things have a shelf life of about 5 years. And we have a group of senators who think, as a matter of fact, it failed by one vote. So half of the senators in our state believe we should be giving a 30-year tax break to these data centers. And I find that to be almost insane. What's the reason for our state to let them in if it wouldn't be to generate income? They talk about economic development. Building these facilities is the only economic development that would go on, because once they're built, they don't require much manpower. But so we're struggling, you guys, in our state house, and Jared has there's something going on tomorrow that he might want to talk about, so we'll let him do that.
Hey, guys, I want to jump in for just a minute and back up to the bill down in D.C. Is that in committee, and is it in the agricultural committee? Because I want to, one point I want to make, our state our federal representative here in my home district is the chair of the agricultural committee, and we could get some noise come out of this area. It would be a little easier for me if it's in that committee, because a big part of our footprint is in our home area here, which would be covered by G.T. Thompson, who is the chair of the agricultural committee. So do you know if that's where it's at, Mike?
I don't know.
We don't know right now. What has happened to us is there's been so much other water under the bridge, we have actually lost track of this thing. And because it hasn't been brought to our attention that it's reaching the House we simply don't know. Maybe we could find out, but
No, you give me that number again, and I will. I know GT personally. You give me that number again, and I'm gonna ring his bell and check in on if he can tell me anything, and we'll start making some noise.
House Bill 4135, Dusty Johnson, sponsor.
4135. He's the sponsor.
Yes, the prime.
Okay. I'm gonna look into that. I write to GT fairly regular. Usually get canned responses back like you do from most of these folks, but I will. We actually supported him back in the Tea Party days and had a significant impact in our home area getting started. He has since, moved well beyond that under the influence of things like Jared was talking about with all the lobby and stuff. But I will look him up. I'll get a hold of him and find out if he knows anything.
That'd be great.
Okay.
I mean, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Remember that.
Yeah.
People in this day and age are worried about squeaking. Shit, Mike and I, we just run around with squeaky wheels. So make some noise.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit who you piss off?
That's
They're
right.
there to work for you.
Absolutely right.
Yep. I think people need to always understand that. Even county commissioner, township. I'm on the township board. Nobody comes to the township meetings. But if you blight at the wrong time or do something wrong, everybody calls, gives you shit about this. Like, well, we discussed some of this, and it was pretty much 3 of us in the room. And people don't want to get involved. But you put a basketball game out there in front of them, and the whole gym's packed because we're all going to have little superstars. It's a whole other topic. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit.
No, we go down that road ourselves. Okay.
But, yeah, so Mike led into tomorrow. So another big bill, which is very personal to me in South Dakota, is Senate Bill SB 88, a.k.a. the Bosley Bill. So Senator Lapka brought this, and it's going back to revise the survey laws in South Dakota that were set up in 2016, which we talked about, and then these ethanol plants signed up in 2017, and we find out about this in 2021. So it's going to go back and just make stuff right. So what happened here at the farm where we got invaded, they went in on crops, they did the invasive survey 90 feet deep. That doesn't get to happen to anybody ever again. And I've said, if we could ever get back, I have a lot of enemies, and I don't wish that on them because it has changed perspective on life and everything. To tell you the truth, guys, it bangs a person up way more than you'd ever know. But if we can get some of that changed to where you got to be notified, you got to have a permit, like what happened to me, they didn't even have a permit. It was all for nothing, Well, I wouldn't say nothing. I met some great people along this bumpy ride. Some great, great people. And I got to thank these commies for that. Because otherwise, I would have never met you guys. Hell, I wouldn't have met Magic Mike.
Yeah.
Now we talk once a day. It's amazing how life kind of evolves. And the big guy up there, he puts people in your corner. Because I know my local town, they kind of thought this CO2 pipeline was going to be good, and I raised holy hell, and maybe not the most popular, but it is what it is. And it's so tomorrow, which as I mentioned earlier when I was talking with you guys, we're in the middle of cabin. I'm going to do it remotely. I just can't drive 3 hours, do that for an hour drive. I can't. If I had 7 hours to spare, I would take a nap. There's no doubt about it. And Mike's finally home from vacation, so he's going to take my wife out there, and she's going to testify in person again, and I'll testify remotely. And this bill so far, we went through the Senate committee. I testified, Tara testified, some people that were actually at the farm that day, they testified. We never had a no vote. It went to the Senate, blew through there. It has not had a no vote yet. This thing should make it through. And if this goes through, it kind of sends a whole nother message about some other stuff that I got going on that I don't want to get a heck of a lot into, but someone's got to show these corporations you don't get to do this. I put myself into that position. Good or bad, I don't know. We'll find out, I don't know, hopefully in the next 15 years, because that's how they do this. But I'm not going away.
To go with Tara tomorrow, and I'm going to sign up to testify too, because I was also there that day, and I have all the video and on my phone, and I'm going to tell that committee what it was like to be there that day, and what it was like to see the terror in, no pun intended, Tara and her daughter's eyes while they're clinging to each other, while there's armed vehicles surrounding this farm, and that the sheriff and his deputies are there making sure Jared doesn't leave his farmyard, because this tract thing that looks like some sort of tank
with the drill rig,
and driving all over everything. And I can't wait to tell my story. That's all I can say. I'm looking forward to it, Jared.
Yeah.
Mike Klipfel YouTube. Is that it, Mike? He's got YouTube videos of all of this stuff. If your viewers want to go to that, I mean, you could see it firsthand. It was about 100 degrees that day, wind blowing 30. We're in a fire danger. It was miserable out.
104, Jared. Let's not be lowering that temperature for that.
104. Well, it was horrible out that day, you guys.
Yeah.
It just, and I had the judge's restraining order, judicial restraining order on me, so I had to stay 300 feet away. I literally, if we want to talk about Carmen sequestration, I was sequestered to my shop and couldn't do anything. And Ed Fishback was out here. He got here right when I got back home with the truck, and he said, you got to just, like, when he testified, he goes, I tell him, Jared, we got to keep calm. He's like, how do you stay calm when this happens? I had tears in my eyes, you guys.
Yeah.
Crazy. 10 minutes later, Ed had tears in his eyes seeing this, and pretty soon my dad's out. I mean, you want to see heart or hurt in the eyes of the ones you love? Be locked down on your farm. My dad's here. I'm taking this over, third generation, raising the fourth. Not that that's anything. I expect no gifts, all that. Like, we're going to work our ass off. But to see him, like, looking at me like, what are you going to do? And my family looking at me like, what are you going to do? And you're the man of the house. You can't do a damn thing. They shut every road down coming into here. They had people on every road with spotting scopes watching us. Every single road coming in here. This is South Dakota. This is America.
Yeah.
This isn't supposed to happen, you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
So hopefully this bill can right some wrongs and just make damn sure nobody has to ever experience that again. And hopefully some of these things we're getting done, South Dakota is going to blaze away. These other states need to start falling in and doing this stuff. Like Iowa's trying to get a bill like 1052 through. That's a no eminent domain for a CO2 pipeline. And it's bipartisan. They get close, but it's big corn country, big lobbyists, and big corrupt, everybody up in the government, the way it looks. I mean, we got some people really working hard, and so pray for Iowa that some common sense comes out down there, because they've been a big help for us, and we're pushing for them too. These things by the time they're constructed, they'll be irrelevant. And another huge thing that has happened in the last month, CO2 is not labeled a pollutant anymore.
Oh boy.
Well,
that changes their whole argument.
Correct. Doesn't that change the whole? I mean, like we said, it's plant food, it's a gas of life, but now all of a sudden it's not a pollutant. Well, they pushed all this stuff. All these guys, any of these things are after is the 45 tax Q. Our tax money, everything, just like the data centers, they come in, they all want tax breaks. The people for them are going to say how much it's going to bring in. It don't bring in anything. Like that big one in Ellendale are trying to get TIFs on that so they don't have to pay taxes. And that bill, which was held today, is 30 years. That started as 50 years. A 50-year tax break. And there is technology. We just found out about, 4 or 5 days ago, how this stuff can regenerate and do it. These data centers will be obsolete in 5 years.
Oh, I'm sure.
That is how fast they are. Why do you even want to put that burden on your state? It's I don't know. It's frustrating. You sit and it's just always like, it's hard enough just to go grow the crop and hope it rains. And, calving's not fun, you guys. But you take a lot of pride in those little steaks that are coming out there right now. And they're worth pretty good money. And they should be worth good money, because that is the best protein you can buy. A pound of hamburgers worth the same as a bag of Doritos. What do you want to buy? And it's just... Sorry, I kind of get on a rant, go down about apples in one conversation, but
that's why we want you guys to come back, because we want to hear it from you guys. We want it right from the horse's mouth, and we probably have said about it this before in the previous podcast, but to me, it is so terrible that we even have to do this, go through what you're doing. First of all, we are already protected by your state constitution and the U.S. Constitution. There is no delegated authority for a Department of Agriculture or wherever the hell this bill ended up to begin with. So what are the feds doing, sticking their nose in it? And the state is only there to protect your liberty. So how did they get so twisted up? But I think you hit on it. They got twisted up by the big money, the big corporations. That's who they answer to. Just like Bree and I talked about a week ago, you know, the whole voter ID thing going on in this country. 85% of this country, and I now heard it's up to 90% of the people in this country are in favor of voter ID, and they're still down there, won't pass the damn bill. And that is how we know they are not answering to us. They simply are not answering to us. They are answering to the big money people, because this fight shouldn't even go on. The state should have been there protecting your property from somebody coming in. You shouldn't be defending yourself against that entity. That should have been who was there protecting it. It's so ass backwards, but at least 80% of this country is so sound asleep. You hit on it. Basketball game, football game, grungy awards, all this other crap that they keep us distracted with, and nobody gives a rat's ass. Nobody's paying attention. So the ones that are standing up in opposition to the state are getting mowed under while the rest of this country sleeps. I just don't know how to wake them up.
Well, you hit on it, Blaze, when you said the sheriff should have been the one who should have been protecting Jared that day. The sheriff is an independent entity, like Sheriff Mack has been telling our sheriffs all along. And then if in fact that sheriff would have protected Jared that day, we would have probably entered a constitutional crisis, because it would have been between the judge and the sheriff's department. And it would have been adjudicated. And if they would have followed the Constitution, they would have had to agree that the sheriff is the preeminent authority in that county. So it goes back to Sheriff Mack and and that these sheriffs need to be constitutional sheriffs, and it would change the face of the United States if they could. It wouldn't be easy, obviously, and there would be challenges all along the way, but at least those challenges would be heard, and we would know whether or not they're following the Constitution. So,
yeah,
correct. And I agree with Mike on that 100%. Since I met Sheriff Mack, we invited Sheriff Mack up here to try to educate our sheriff, you guys. We did that. And, you know, when Sheriff Mack standing next to your sheriff, like, we're going to get things done. I mean, sheriffs are, pretty badass sheriff when Sheriff Mack stand to him or by him. And now we actually have a sheriff election coming up. And I just read the stuff. There's 4 candidates. Not one of them said, I will be a constitutional sheriff and I will stand by the Constitution and put my name out there and take it all away, just like the Brady Bill and Sheriff Mack. Instead, they write 3 paragraphs that we got to have more communication, and we're going to do this. We're going to put on some more classes, and we're going to eat pizza with the kids. I'm like, this is just all the freaking distraction.
Yeah.
1-2 sentences, and you'd have a lot of votes.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a backbone. But it's just a nice little badge and a quick little hat.
Yeah.
Like we need it. It's frustrating. I don't mean to disrespect sheriffs, because there's a lot of great ones out there. But we need about 250 more great ones. And then we can make things happen. And until then, Washington gets it. And Washington should be there for a time of war, not making policies that come back down through the states.
That's correct.
Local, and it goes up.
Yep.
When did it all switch? And why does nobody... It is, like you said, the rest are sleeping, and it's frustrating, tiring, because it's been like a full-time job for Mike and I, and a big group of us in South Dakota. It's not like just Mike and I are carrying the weight. there's been a hell of a big group. We put a lot of good people together, and we put enough people together that we're now there butting heads on things. You get legislative session, and there's a rumor here, a rumor there, and all the old hens go crazy. And you're like, all right, trust the people that got you here. They're not going to change this. And it's just politics. And it is, man, it's stupid. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Ugly,
Yeah.
stupid, miserable, and it only gets worse in Washington. And
Oh yeah.
I don't know how we fix it all.
Well,
But I'm
if I
good.
can jump in, I've got two thoughts that keep kind of floating around in my head. One is quite pessimistic, and the other is optimistic. So we'll get the bad one out of the way first. And that is that when you guys first came on this podcast, the carbon sequestering project felt like it was never going to go away. And we talked about the billions of dollars that were being funded into this project. And when you think about the amount of smart, sciencey minds that went into these projects, now knowing that it's no longer even being classified as a pollutant in this country, it makes you wonder, did they know that it would come to that when this all started? And if that's the case, it makes you think about the data centers, which same thing, billions of dollars being poured into something that's going to last for 5 years. Okay, then we can think about the solar panels. People are buying up massive plots of land to put in huge solar farms. Same with wind farms. All knowing full well there's plenty of research that goes into both of those things that prove to us that they do not work, or that it's so expensive to maintain that they stop maintaining them altogether. If that's true for all four of these things, all of which serve as a land grab to the ultra wealthy, it makes me question whether or not they ever even cared about sequestering the carbon at all, or if that was just a front, a push for the climate agenda to get all the greenheads to go, woo, yeah, let's support this, thinking that maybe they would have a chance to push it through when their real motive was just to take the land from the farmers and the ranchers, take the good, fertile land that's left in this country. That's what's frightening to me, and I think that's what people need to wake up to.
Spot on. They came out with 30 by 30. That's 30% of the land by 2030 will be owned by the federal government. They have a 20 by 50 or 50 by 50, same thing. So if wind and solar was so good, the same people pushing wind and solar are behind the data centers, and they don't want wind and solar to be their electric source. That's what Mike and I are going to get.
Yeah.
Keep the teepee lit up here. And it's crazy. You see how it is. And all it is tax credits, tax credits, tax credits, tax credits. That's the whole thing behind this CO2 thing. It will never go away until 45 tax Q goes away. That's the bottom line. I mean, that's why we keep trying to strengthen our laws, because we got 1052 in last year. Great bill. But you're only one primary away from all of a sudden a few people get booted out, the establishment gets in, they override 1052 in the legislative session, it's gone. That's why we're going right to the state constitution to try to get it on the ballot and let the people vote. And I think it's humongous if we can get it done. Absolutely humongous. And I pray, I hope. I don't want my kids to have to worry about some of this bullshit. And they've lived through enough, we'll put it that way. But you're spot on, Bree. It's 100% land grab. 110%.
And what even proves that more, in my opinion, is because I live here in near North Dakota, I know how much coal is in our state. And we have enough what they call recoverable coal. That's coal that's 100 feet or less deep into the ground. We could power the entire United States with that much coal for the next 850 years. That's just North Dakota. Montana has 10 times more coal than North Dakota. Wyoming, 5 times more coal than North Dakota. And we haven't even got out to your guys' neck of the woods yet. And so we can never run out of coal. And they're burning that coal, they're using that coal and producing less carbon, or 10 times less carbon than these ethanol plants are producing. We could produce all the power we wanted and we wouldn't even be adding anything in regards to CO2 to the atmosphere. So it's all something else is going on, and I think we all kind of know what that is.
Yeah.
And science, the real science doesn't lie. Scientists, people collecting data, they can all get paid off. They can always make the stats and statistics show what they want to scare people. That's what they do with it. Because most people will never do any recon and go in and they're like, oh, geez, CO2, a cornfield will sequester more CO2 than any like catching it off these ethanol plants. Plant 10 acres of trees will do more than what we're going to catch off an ethanol plant. They're just pushing the wrong stuff, and it's all tax breaks. They don't really give a shit about us, Mother Nature. They really don't care about that.
100%.
They just want us to pay for that, for them to get rich and have easements, and our land is gone.
Yep. It's land grab and wealth transfer. Every one of these scams that they've crammed down our throat, and they're getting away with it because the population sleeps. But Bree, I wanted to hear what your optimistic point was.
Yes.
Correct. I'm ready for that too.
Well, I guess I just am really excited by the fact that there is a bill here, the Bosley bill that we're talking about, that you've been working on, and clearly, hence the name, are a pretty big inspiration behind. I think that when we first met you guys, this was so far out of the realm of what was going to be possible. You know, the first couple episodes that you guys joined us for, same thing. I mean, I don't think that the Bosley bill happening was even in our line of sight yet. And it's incredible to see what is possible when, to the point you made earlier, you are the squeaky wheel. You recognize what the issue is, and you're willing to get off your ass and speak up, speak out on it, and just stay committed to that cause. All of us have that power within us. We can all do that. We if we all picked a cause today and stayed on it the way you guys have stayed on this, we could solve all of the issues facing our country. And I think that it's so frustrating that there aren't enough people who do care at this level, who are awake. But again, I've said it every time you guys are on. You serve as an incredible example of what the American people should be doing. And this really kind of brings that full circle, because now you have the opportunity to make change that will last generations. And that wouldn't have happened had you not gone through all of the terrible things that you had. But the fact that now a change is coming that is named after you, that will impact so many people in the future. I memean, this is so incredible. This is such a huge step. Is the problem over? No. I mean, is there still a fight? Of course. But I hope that people can see, like, this is the proof that if we really stick to what we believe in, we can get the job done. So I just really congratulate you for that, because it's a huge effort.
Well, thank you, Bree. It means a lot. It's not easy, folks. It's not easy. Like I said, back when this was like in the prime of it, it's probably 60 hours a week you spent on the phone and running the meetings and doing this. Oh, and you're growing a crop and a family and doing all this stuff. But the Bosley bill is more than just me. I want people to know that I was a sacrificial lamb that never got totally sacrificed. I didn't go away. I had it happen here, but there was other people that had this happen too, and they just didn't want. It's not their thing to get in front of a camera and do this stuff, and I understand that it's not easy. Christ, I talked to cows and bales my whole damn life. Now I'm on my 4th podcast with you guys, and wasn't even nervous all day for it. But it's everybody. we have a heck of a coalition, a heck of a group in South Dakota, and it's hats off to all of them. Yeah, the Bosley Bill's got a beautiful ring to it, that's for sure. But it's the pipeline family that's been here. This is 5 years and going, and we're fighting and talk. We talk every 2 weeks, and we got groups all over on stuff, and we're involved. Like the state of South Dakota got woke up, and hopefully the woke up state of South Dakota realizes how bad Dusty Johnson will be for a governor. There's people out there better, way, way better. He's going to bring Washington back here and override every damn thing we did. And it's just, you get in so many fights, you got to pick the one that's right there in front of you, bulldozer into that one, and then go to the next. And I think that's why a lot of places people get involved, and then they just scatter like a shotgun shell, kind of. They get too many things going on. We stayed laser focused on a mission, and are still that way. And I think that's why we got getting stuff done. I know when Mike, you remember when we went to Fort Dodge? That was when we were damn green. We had a deal in the Capitol on July 3rd, July 3rd and July 4th. We jumped in a vehicle and we were heading to Fort Dodge, 10 hours away, to give a talk in the Iowa people, and they're like, how are you guys so far ahead? I'm thinking, you guys got to exchange the phone numbers and start sending some texts. It starts there. And if there's a meeting, if there's an update, if there's a headline, you start reading them, you start sharing them with more people, and you get your core group. You're going to learn damn quick who wants shit to happen or not. And we've done that here. And we're not,
and then that next April, we were on a plane. Oh, by the way, so when we went to Fort Dodge, that was Jared's first time out of the state of South Dakota, just in case you're wondering. Then when we went to Las Vegas, where we met you guys, that was Jared's first time on a plane. And I thought he was sitting right behind me, and I thought he was going to rip the seat out when we were landing in Vegas. But anyway, so
wings are for the birds. Wings are for the birds. I want to be able to drive something. I was steering that plane behind Mike's seat, and he's just laughing away. I'm like, I don't know, Mike. I feel like I'm out of control here, and I was out of my element, you guys.
Well, you've grown into the position, and I want to offer up, while you guys, Bree made her optimistic point, and Mike and Jared weighed in on that, I could not help but think of a quote from one of my favorites, a real hellraiser, Sam Adams. I like their beer too. And I'm going to offer this up to you guys in particular. I looked it up as we were chatting here, and this says exactly what we're talking about. It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. And that's from Sam Adams. And I'm offering that up to you guys in particular because you are showing us the way on that very thing.
Well, Blaze, that gives me goosebumps. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
It does. It gives me goosebumps. And, I mean, folks, that's what the founding fathers were. They did not have a big light at the end of the tunnel like this was going to be easier or even possible. They gave everything to change it. And why are we letting it slip away right in front of us? That's the worst part, is they're just doing it blatantly in front of you because they put enough distractions out there.
Yes, they are. And they have made themselves above the law. So even if you do get them pinned down on some violation, none of these people are ever brought to justice. And if the majority of people took their head out of their ass and realized how badly we have been screwed by the people that were put in to serve us and the people that they're serving, mind you, because once again, they're not answering to us. They're answering to somebody else. So we're being screwed by a couple of different levels, and these people, even when they are caught red-handed, none of them ever go down for it. We have just got to wake up to this fact. Talking about the data centers, to me, that's just a digital pen. That is where all of the data that's being used to keep us digitally contained, completely eliminating the freedom that we're supposed to have.
And that's 100% what will happen with that. I mean, you don't even you can be blind in one eye and see the writing on the wall there. And all these things roll into that same type of deal.
You were just speaking about how they're not being held accountable. We have that going on in our own county, a county of 2,500 people. And we have our county commissioners rejecting a petition that we brought legally that was supposed to be put on the ballot. And with the advice of our state's attorney, they simply rejected it and didn't allow it to be on the ballot. It was for our county to hand count. We wanted to just eliminate the machines and do a hand count in our county. And our state's attorney convinced our commissioners that if they did that, they would get sued by the ACLU. We are 2,500 people. I'm guessing the ACLU is not too interested in us, except that they can't let one county in South Dakota do a hand count, because that might open the floodgates for the rest of them to do that. And we're still fighting that fight to this day, and we're not going to quit. We're not going away, and they don't like us. Oh, yeah, I'm running for county commissioner.
Yeah, obviously you got the wrong ones in there. But we all do. All over this country, we got the wrong ones in there. Correct. Because they don't got any more balls over here either. The same thing would happen. I used to go to those things quite often. Nobody's there, and they brush you aside. This is how we are no longer living in a representative republic, a constitutional republic. We are not. But back to the other point, I just don't think that the majority of the country even cares.
Yeah,
they don't. And 2,500 people. McPherson County is pretty remote. Listen to how many things happen up there. And God bless Magic Mike for saying, all right, I'm going to step up. I'm going to do this. It shouldn't take the older generation to step up. Where in the hell are the 40-year-olds?
Thanks for that, Jared. God dang, what would I do without you?
I didn't say a number. I mean, you can just say you got cows and you're a strong 46. You look better than I do, Mike. I'm 44. But that's not what you're supposed to be doing when you're thinking of retirement and slowing up and all. Like, where is that generation that's 20 to 40? Where are they? No, they're at ball games. That's where they're at. Or they're on vacation. Life's good. I know people that have just flown yesterday to Mexico. That is the last goddamn place I would fly to right now.
Yeah, no
Obviously,
kidding.
they're not listening to the conditions on the ground.
You don't have to even look hard and you can see what's going on. Like, it's just, I get a lot of shit. Oh, you can't just work forever. You can't do all this. I'm like, well, I'm going to work until it's comfortable for me to leave. Like, and I'm not leaving. I mean, went to Vegas, met great people. That was, I don't know, good enough in my book. Check it off. We saw the country. 2 airplanes and 2 airplanes there and back. Enough for Jared. But it's just, I don't know where, if it's status quo things. Just look at the houses 20-year-olds have. Look at the vehicles that are sitting in the high school parking lots. And everybody's pissed about what a pound of beef costs.
Yeah.
This is where the price of beef should be. There's a lot of goddamn work that goes in to getting these steaks all the way to the finish line. Way more than anybody knows, and I welcome anybody to come out and shadow my shadow and just see what it takes. And it's just a lot. And then do that, but do all this stuff on top of it. It gets to be a lot, but you got to commit.
Yeah.
You're going to make a difference, and you go all in. You half-ass anything, you don't get anything done any place, and you go. Magic Mike telling you go. We're going to go 110%, whether we're tired or not.
Yeah. Well, that's why, it comes back to the quote that you just shared, Dad. And I think the first or second time you guys were on with us, the episode was named after that quote, an irate and tireless few. I mean, it's always going to be that. We just talked about this last week on our episode. The majority's never waking up. They're not. We have a minority now, and that's what we have to work with. So, Mike, I commend you for running for county commissioner. I think, any level of involvement that any of us can have is better than nothing, because we are the awake ones. So this is what we're always trying to talk about here is like, if we wait for the rest of the people to wake up, the battle is already lost. We have a small minority now. We have an irate and tireless few. Let's do what we can with it. We cannot take our foot off the gas. We simply cannot, or the fight is lost. The moment we do, the moment the few of us that are in this quit, it is over. So I really, I say it every time, but you guys serve as such an example of how to get involved at any level. Jared, you said it not too long ago. You connected with people, you exchanged phone numbers, and now you have this community. That's what it is, and that's what it takes. It's actually not hard to do. You go to one event and you become friends with people, you maintain the friendship, you talk about these things. Like, that's not hard to do.
It's actually very rewarding. You meet people like-minded that you never knew were out there. I've been living in this bubble that for the last 60 years and thought this is the way it was everywhere. Well, it's not that way everywhere, and so here we are. But I think it was the Spartans that said, if you're tired, just do it tired. So
yeah.
And there's squeaky wheels everywhere. They just need to know a few other squeaky wheels. And we ran, like when we were doing ordinances up here, pushing between the counties for the CO2 pipeline, we would travel to each counties. I mean, you put some miles on to go stand with your brother who's squeaking in front of his county commission and show them. Those are the things you have to do. One person can't just put it on their shoulders and make a difference. But the more people you get involved, also now there's 30 of you standing in that room behind that guy, whether they know him or not. That sends a damn message. And those are the things you do. That's where the text. You just start opening up some communication. Some of my bestest damn friends are from the communication that we started 5 years ago now. Like, I don't probably correspond with my main group of friends anymore because of this. I'm better people to talk to now who think like me. I'm not just a conspiracy theorist and all these things, but you have to do some due diligence on everything. Keep an open mind on everything. Don't just say no instantly, but do your due diligence. Learn what it's all about. And when you start to do that and look into stuff, that's when the light bulb will go off for you. And until the light bulb goes off for you, you don't get it. Once it does, you're involved.
Yeah.
And we've seen that happen in South Dakota big time and it's everything. And now it's tied into election integrity, CO2 pipelines, data centers, mega dairies. That's another thing that's coming in. And all these things going to need power. They're going to need acres of land. And the original eminent domain stuff, a power company, a water line, they usually get to come in because that's, for the public good. But when it's coming through your ground, you don't get to hook up to it, and it's strictly going to power a data center or feed water to a mega dairy. How is that public good? And then you got young guys like me who don't own the whole goddamn world. How are they ever going to buy land and expand their farm when the mega dairy comes in and it's all big corporate money anyway? They don't care what it costs. Nothing pencils. When we buy ground, you got to go to the bank and be like, well, this, and you push your pencil to the max and like, boy, and you got your bid number. You're not even half of what this ground sells for. You don't even get to compete because you can't lose everything you got. And it's just a tough, odd world. I don't know how any young guy expands unless someone wants you to expand.
Yeah. So tomorrow is a big day in Pierre. I'm looking forward to being there with Tara and others and testifying. But then there's some more big days coming up after that. 5001, the one Jared was talking about earlier, is also coming up. It might even be coming up tomorrow, Jared. I think they moved it to Wednesday. Do you know anything about that?
I know nothing about it, but I'm behind them.
Anyway, we'll keep you posted on those. We do believe the Bosley bill will sail through. You know, who? By the way, look at that face. Who could vote against that? That's what I want.
I got a lot of enemies, Mike. A lot of enemies.
Well, we're certainly rooting that Bosley bill on, and your testimony tomorrow, Mike. Anxious to hear how that goes, and your wife, Jared, Tara. All the best to those on their appearance up there. We will keep pushing as much as we can from our little deal here. You know, we're supporting you guys 100%. Wish we could do something more. Commend you for all the efforts. As Bree mentioned, you are an example, I think, for anybody who wants to get involved. You got to pick yourself up off the couch. You kind of got to get mad dog mean about some things that you're willing to fight for and get up and do it and surround yourself with other people, like-minded people, and then you feel some energy from that group and continue to carry on. Like you said, even when you're tired, you do it tired.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have to.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna fight the fight for us. We gotta find a way to do it ourselves. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, I know we're already coming up on an hour. Jared's got things to do this evening. Is there anything that the two of you wanted to make sure you got in before we wrap it up? I don't want to miss any points that you wanted to share.
One quick thing is North Dakota is actually beginning some exciting things because they're bringing power lines down and all over to this data center, and they're condemning land to do that. These power lines, because they're going right across farm fields and what else. And there's a group of people just north of me now in North Dakota that have started to fight. And there was an interesting thing that took place yesterday in District 28 in North Dakota. There was a legislator there who's all in for these power lines, and a bunch of resistors came in there, and he wasn't going to let them speak. So they actually were going to take the microphone away from him, and he was running around the room trying to avoid them. And I guess it got to be quite a fiasco. But this District 28 encompasses about 5 or 6 counties, which is a significant part of North Dakota. They're having a convention in North Dakota too, where and this particular meeting was to elect delegates to their convention. This number of counties could have had 54 delegates. They are allowed 54 delegates. There were enough people at that meeting that they elected 11 delegates. Just so you know what's going on.
Yeah.
And there's people up there, Tim. He would be good. He's a retired guy all over at meetings. Been kicked out of meetings. They won't let him in, and they're supposed to be public meetings. Like he would be a good one to really set the light off on this. But we talked to these people in South. I mean, you just see how the coalition is starting to build bigger than we thought. And we've actually started a thing here in South Dakota. This Land and Legacy. If you search Land and Legacy on Facebook, it'll come up and it gives updates and we want that to get to be built to be across the nation. This isn't just because we know every state has got to fight, and there might be few squeaky wheels in there, but now you start to get all these squeaky wheels together. Like you said, get the irate minority, get them involved, and get people all talking along, and everybody can learn from each other then. South Dakota really learned a lot from the CO2 pipeline. North Dakota is learning more about data centers than South Dakota currently. But these things are all kind of tied hand in hand. Tip of the spear. We said this 5 years ago. Here we are. We ain't even worked hardly down the spear yet. They're going to keep coming up with dumb things to get the land. So just do everything you can to get in the way. Make them jump through the hoops. If it's a water permit, if it's easements for right away, like whatever. But like, it's tiring. It will be a tireless job, a thankless job. But we got the next generation to think about, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're not
Jared,
signing them.
Jared, I
Yep.
want to know just a question unrelated. When is calving season over so you can get a nap? Because I'll be sure not to text you when you're going to take a long nap.
It'll start by, I don't know, March 10th, March 15th, we'll be slowing up. And then the last 50 take as long as the first 200. So it slows up, and Mother Nature usually works better with you, but it's around the clock now. So just send a text. I'll probably talk back.
They say money can't buy happiness, but they can buy cows. So that's just about as good.
Correct.
Yeah.
I did get the wife said a stern thing the other day. She said, I think we have enough cows. I said, well, I mean, if we're doing 250, why don't you do 300? She goes, we have enough. So, I don't know. It gets to be a strenuous time on the family. I miss a lot of these ball games the boys at, and even if they're home. I mean,
yeah,
it's 24 hours a day. If you can figure out Mother Nature's cycle, please let me know. I would love to know, but I don't know. It's frustrating, it's tiring, but it's incredible at the same time. You look at what a cow does, and it takes a human however long to walk and do all these things. And when a cow comes out, in 10 minutes, they're trying to suck. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And you gotta love what you do and reap the rewards, hopefully, in the end. And we're trying to feed the world, feed America.
Yep.
This is good protein.
Yeah.
Well, we're thankful for you, both of you guys, and everything that you're doing up there. Again, we'll continue to support you. We'll try and get our message out there. I will be in touch with G.T. Thompson office to see if he knows anything about the HB 4135, sponsored by Dusty Johnson. I'm going to start working on him.
It'd be great. And it's great talking with you guys. I'm so thankful Mike was able to talk me onto a plane to get out there and to meet you guys. I mean, these are all friendships that never would have happened providing the commies coming in our back door. So
Yep.
there is a little thanks to be given.
Well, we certainly are thankful for that meeting out there as well. It's something that we'll share the rest of our lives, and hopefully we'll keep talking over that period.
Yes, we will. There's no doubt about it.
Definitely will. Looking forward to having you guys out here if you want to do something. So we'll talk about that too sometime.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
We got to get that on the calendar one of these days.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we don't want to keep you all night. We know that you guys are busy folks. So thank you so much for taking an hour and spending it with us. It's always great to talk to you and catch up and share this story because it needs to be heard. People need to be awake to what's going on out there. So thank you again. With that, Pops, I'm going to turn it over to you to close us out.
Okay. I have a verse for tonight. He built towers in the wilderness and hewed many cisterns, for he had much livestock, both in the lowland and in the plain. He also had plowmen and vine dressers in the hill country and the fertile fields, for he loved the soil. And that is 2 Chronicles 26 and verse 10. And I offer that up to you guys and the rest of your farming families out there. God bless you and keep up the good fight, and we'll help spread the word.
Thanks,
Amen.
Wade. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you guys.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
See you,
See
Bree.
ya.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so there you go. Thank you so much to Mike and Jared once again for coming back and joining us here at the Fourth Box. Their plates are so full. They've got so much going on all the time. We will share as much of what we can in the show notes below. So if you want to check out things like Mike's YouTube to see what all went on at Jared's farm, if you want to take a look at some of the bills that they're discussing here, please keep in mind, like we said, these are not state-specific issues. These are not local issues. This is something that's coming for everyone, everywhere. And this fight is as important now as it's ever been. So I certainly urge you to take a look at what's going on here and see how it might already be impacting your area. And perhaps it's just something that you have not been aware of to this point. So thanks so much to Mike and Jared. We will be back here next Thursday at 6 p.m. You know the drill. Stay vigilant.
Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate the support and truly love getting to share this message with anyone who wants or needs it. The best way for you to support the show is to subscribe, add a rating, and share with everyone you know. You can find us on Instagram, X, and at thefourthbox.com. We'll see you next Thursday at 6 p.m. Stay vigilant.